Hello there, late. Oh, we're not there? Oh, no, it just timed out. Okay, there we go. Oh my goodness, we're here. We made it, ladies.
We did.
Yes, we made it. Happy Thursday.
Every day it's something different, isn't it, Renee? It's like, ugh.
Listen, one of our core values is being agile, and I have to say that I lean into being agile every single day, every moment.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we are excited to sit down with Stacey Onnen, President of Brokerage Operations at eXp Realty. We've been just clamoring to have this conversation.
I know, I'm excited. I haven't sat down with you guys. Like, I think our last conversation was over dinner and wine in real life, which was a great one.
in New York and at NASDAQ, and that was pretty awesome. But it's awesome today.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's dig in. Stacey Onnen, I know Elizabeth and I know you very well, but
Yes,
I would love for you to share with our audience about yourself, and I just want to learn all about what brings us together today and in the journey to today.
Absolutely. I think it's my 22nd year in real estate, which has been great. I've been lucky enough to do it all in Arizona. From the small town of Prescott and Chino Valley down to Phoenix. It's been a fun experience. And, you know, it was funny. Never, ever in my career did I think I would end up doing brokerage operations. I had owned my own company. I was the broker. I sold it. I was convinced I was just going to sell real estate. Started teaching real estate. Got a call from my broker mentor. Had to jump back in. There's some people you don't say no to. And Jim Sexton knew how to get me not to say no. So I went back in. And I was lucky enough with the company that I was at last that they allowed me to kind of use some of those operational skills, help them develop new things. And it was fun because that was what kind of led me to eXp and was exciting, was being able to take everything that I was doing and dealing with and learning on the other ends and just come and get to take it across the whole country and expand it and, you know, get to go join a company that was growing so crazy. I mean, just insanity that, you know, when you first get here, it's like drinking out of 5 fire hoses all turned on full blast at one time. You're still trying to figure out how to walk your avatar around the room. Morning number 1 was 6 a.m. with Glenn Sanford, you know, in the world. And I looked like my avatar had been drinking since 4. I was bad, but, you know, just being able to come over here and be able to take a group of people that had grown so fast and try to just help get systems for them and broaden that thing and make sure that, you know, Renee, you in Florida and Elizabeth in Texas, that you guys get to experience the same eXp experience. That what your broker team in Florida, you know, provides for you is what Elizabeth's broker team in Texas is going to provide for her. And so just really getting to collaborate with an exceptional group of brokers and get them all to come together and just make sure that the agents are taken care of. It's just been fun to have my journey land me here.
Well, we're certainly super excited that your journey landed you here. And we will attest to the seamlessness that does take place, right? As we know, because we have an awesome collaborative community of agents, that we are so well taken care of, and especially now more than ever, we feel confident that we are able to navigate through this situation standing on a really solid foundation because of the support we're getting at our state level, which I'm so grateful for.
Absolutely. I have been blown away. I mean, no less than flat out amazed at the way your state broker teams have taken something that none of us have been through before. This is different than 09, 10. I still call them the dark days. It's different than the dark days. Not better or worse, just different. And so when I look at it and see how your broker teams were able to just go, okay, so my job right now is how do I make sure these agents are set up for success in 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever the time frame is. And watching them day and night, like I don't know that everybody always realizes the amount of messages going back and forth from 4 a.m. to 1 in the morning between our broker teams and our legal teams, making sure that they understand where your state is at, that they understand the orders that are issued, that they can navigate through it, and then not just like prevent you guys from risk, but also figure out, okay, with what these orders say and what's allowed, not allowed, how do I help them go sell more real estate? How do I keep them moving? Their focus has been so well divided between risk management and how do I make my agents better. It's been phenomenal to watch. Like, it just sets our broker staff up, and just, it's amazing. I'm so impressed.
One of the things I'm in awe of is, and I don't remember who we were talking to, but we're so used to how our company is, open borders, a national company,
Right.
one company. We were talking about how we really have all the different states that are operating differently. They have different mandates coming down. They have different rules, not even in regards to real estate, but if you think about real estate, there's things changing on a daily basis. Like,
Right.
Board of Realtors are telling us one thing, our states are telling us things. And the fact that you guys are managing that, and not only managing it, I'm sure it's like the duck on the surface, which is super calm and cool and underneath. I guarantee, I wouldn't be surprised, but you make it look, like Renee said, seamless, and the communication is flawless. Now, I think with workplace and the way we communicate, it makes it so much easier, but it's not like you're dealing with one state or one office. You're dealing with the whole country, and you're getting that information out timely. Actually, we are getting the information out sometimes sooner than we even hear it from our local outlets. So
Absolutely.
that's pretty amazing, because it keeps us doing what we're supposed to be doing and moving forward without sitting there waiting and then being behind and, like you said, putting us at risk. So kudos to you guys.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, as being the girl born in Kansas City, I always think of, you remember the movie The Wizard of Oz?
Oh, yeah.
And the wizard behind the curtain frantically running around and trying to figure out the orders, and that's kind of what we look like behind. But it is amazing. You're right. Like, they take the orders, there's a group of them, and everybody's making sure they understand it and giving their opinion. And then you're right, what comes out the other end is, okay, we're good, let's do this. And so I cannot say more positive things about the way they've handled that, and how quickly they've responded to it. And you're right, having workplace and having that ability to, we all know that agents, how we all communicate is very different. And it's one of the things I remember teaching in so many real estate classes was, if your client texts you, text them back, don't call them. If they call you, call them back, don't text them. If they email you, do the same. And so we have so many tools at EXP that our brokers can make sure that they do the same thing. We've got some agents that are glued to workplace, some that still watch their email, some that want you to text them. And so it has really been fun to watch the brokers figure out, how do I effectively disseminate this information to everybody in a way that they're going to want to digest it. And so that has been really great to see. It's been a lot of fun.
I don't know if you and the entire brokerage ops team, cascading throughout all the layers, know how comforting is to know, for example, being a team leader, that these are things I'm not needing to worry about. The information is coming down and we're being supported, and that cascades throughout every last agent. And just again, to say thank you, because we have so many things we're navigating on a day-to-day to make sure that we're serving our customers and our community, and by Jesus, we're doing homeschooling. So to know, although the other day our homeschooling meant baking brownies, that covered about 3 different subjects in the curriculum. We were good.
Absolutely.
Ours is riding a bike, right? I mean, my first grader got Intro to Persuasive Riding, and I was like, I don't think so. Let's go learn how to ride a bike. So now she can ride a bike, and I think that's balance, and that's something that's educational, right?
See, good news for me, I'm a grandma. My only one homeschooling is a college student, so it's easy for me.
Well, it is very comforting to know that so much is being handled for us, right, by so many strong, intelligent, awesome people that are taking care of us. And so with you and all throughout every layer, thank you, because it helps us navigate our day.
It does. And one of the things, though, that I think is also pretty cool and unique is, I don't think you guys as team leaders always realize how plugged in you are. And by being you plugged in as team leaders, how plugged in the agents under your team are. So that actually, as much as people don't talk about it a lot, the more plugged in you guys are, and the more you guys are out helping and getting your agents to come to the meetings, to read the newsletters, to follow workplace. The huge thank you goes back to you guys, because that's what makes the broker's job easier. It just sometimes as a broker, trying to gather your herd can become like herding cats. And so by you guys being able to, ask them to be plugged in, encouraging them to be plugged in, that means the brokers can get the information out, but you're helping to ask the agents to digest it. And so that allows the brokers, we have more educated agents, more tuned in agents, and that allows the brokers to focus more on how do I now empower you to sell, because I'm not just busy trying to go find everybody that wasn't paying attention. So I think it's a two-way street. If without both of those two working hand in hand, it doesn't work as well. So thank you to you guys.
Well, it's our pleasure.
Let's talk about our leadership. Renee and I have been very fortunate about talking and meeting with each of our leaders on these Zoom calls and just getting to know their backgrounds and tell their story a little bit. We have amazing leadership at our company. I have to say though, we're pretty proud of the fact that we have a pretty strong, awesome female president in our company. How do you navigate that with, we've got some strong personalities in our leadership team. But what I love is you don't back down too, but how do you all navigate that together? And what's it like being in your role where you're definitely outnumbered?
It's funny. Oddly enough, okay, so I get that question a lot, and you would think by now it would not surprise me. And yet every time I get it, it actually does. And I think the reason it surprises me is, maybe it could be because I was a huge tomboy when I was little, so maybe I'm just more comfortable that way. But one of the things that I love is I don't ever feel like the female in the room.
Awesome.
The people that I work with, we're a team, there is none of that. I have never once felt like I'm different or I'm treated different. I don't think about it until somebody brings it up, which to me is a huge kudos to that group of people working around me, that they have absolutely made it an environment, and I think the other thing that I find a huge amount of thankfulness for is I am still a girl. And so I'll be brutally honest. I'm probably going to be the one that's going to come to tears more often than the guys in the room. But I love the fact that when I do get really passionate, if it comes out in tears or comes out in whatever, they're awesome about it. They have never once made me feel awkward or out of bounds or like anything like that. And so it's been really refreshing to know that I'm with a group of people that I don't see them as men. They don't see me as women. We're just coworkers. We're friends. We're family. I think that's the thing that is pretty awesome is, we all go through challenges in life. And what I love more than anything is when one of us in this group is going through a personal challenge, how the other group will make 100% concerted effort, no matter what is going on in the business world, to check in on each other personally and genuinely check in on each other personally. So it's funny. It's to me, it's the biggest non-issue in the room. It's pretty cool.
We can feel the camaraderie that you all have. We feel that. And so when you're explaining it, it is so evident, because if it wasn't actually going on, that dynamic, the outside looking toward the leadership team wouldn't be able to actually feel that you guys are that close, which is great.
It is. And I think you are absolutely correct, and that the family feel, the harassment, the jokes, all of the fun stuff that comes along with that, you can't fake it. And it's either there or it's not. And I think that's what helps get you through the stressful days. We definitely use humor, that's absolutely how we get through. And so it is something I don't think you can fake. And it's something that you can't wish will be there. You either have that chemistry and that connection with the team you're with, or you just don't.
Yeah.
So I've been really pleased with that.
You have an interesting role too. And our company has an interesting take on the president role. We don't have just one president, we have two. And I think that's really awesome. How do you guys, you're president of Broker Ops, and Dave Kennard, who we had on, he's president of Growth. How do you guys work hand in hand with that role?
That guy is my brother from another mother. He is a crack up. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate him. It's funny when they announced co-presidents, to say people didn't say, "Ooh, is that going to work?" That's a lot. That can be a power thing. Dave and I are just enough similar and just enough not similar that we actually balance each other out incredibly well. My weaknesses are Dave's strengths. It's just, that's how it works with us. And so the other thing too, that, you know, we would jokingly say we can't have a bad day at the same time. You know, if I'm having a tough moment or a stressful day, I know I can lean on Dave. And so I think for everything that people thought it would be, it ended up being the exact opposite. He is 100% my definite partner in crime. Definitely my brother from another mother. He's a really good human. And so it's worked out really well. You know, his strength is in growth, his ability to round up the troops, his motivation, his positive style is off the charts. And I am definitely let's dig into the down to business. Let's get this contract out. Let's go through this. Let's build out an operational plan. And so I think it has allowed us to, he brings out my outer side instead of my introvert, get into my stuff and get it done, you know, and I can help him get down into the devils and the details. So for something that, you know, because I didn't know Dave before this, I think I had met him for 2 whopping months before we took the role together. And so it could have gone one way or another. And what I loved was I remember the very first time I saw him physically, I think it was in Bellingham, and it was like I'd known him forever. We just clicked. We got along really well. He's just a great human. You know, his wife is just, I got to meet her. She's phenomenal. So it's been exceptional. I've really enjoyed being able to A, prove people wrong, because that's always fun, and B, just be able to do it gracefully and enjoy each other.
We feel that too, and love seeing the two of you together. You guys are hilarious on stage, I have to say too. For those who have ever had the opportunity to be in a meeting while the two of you are on stage together, or any conference we've attended, it's always a treat to see the two of you together.
I still think we have one of the largest selfies. Like I remember when we did our selfie from the stage.
Yep.
You know, that was fun. So I think we've got some of our largest stuff like that. Yeah, good stuff.
I would like to dig into a little tactical on the agent side. Stacey, you have such amazing real estate experience in your background. And as we all know, we are all faced with a very trying time right now. What can agents, or what should be agents doing? I think we're waking up in the morning and we open up our laptop and we have a tendency to say, oh no, what now? So what suggestions do you have for agents?
You know, it's interesting. So right before I got on the call with you guys today, I was on a call with RJ, who's from our financial planning and analysis. And I believe you guys have had RJ on as well.
We did.
I think we did. And so RJ and I were, isn't he great?
Yeah,
I've really enjoyed getting to work with him too. So we were kind of running through the numbers. And, you know, one of the things that I was telling him that I have found to be the most, I always like to look at it like almost like a study in human behavior, right? Like, did we learn from before? Did we not? Are we going to make the same mistakes again? And so I think what I think a lot of agents could watch, and I think you guys both have done this really well, and I have seen some amazing teams just do it right now across the country, where for those of us that were in this through the last dark times, right? We got really scrappy. We got really resourceful. We figured out different ways to do real estate. And so the one thing that has been fascinating to me was when all of these orders started coming in March, right? And states started getting, quote, shut down. The number of pending escrows coming in during times when you would not have expected people to be able to go write contracts is unreal. What I love to see is if you are an agent struggling, reach out to an agent who is putting stuff in escrow right now. Ask them, because what I've noticed is when the orders started to come out, they quickly pivoted and they started doing the E360 tours, and they started running out and figuring out, okay, if I can't bring Elizabeth into the house right now, how am I going to get Elizabeth to buy that house? Because people still need to move. All the reasons to move are still there. Maybe a different number of people, but it's not as big of a number right now as everybody thought it was going to be. You know, and so as we're looking at April, we're still looking at closings at April that are much closer to being on track than we had ever anticipated. We're looking into our log that is being built up into May closings, and knowing that you guys are getting up in the morning and figuring out, how do I sell a home virtually? And then it's been a blast to watch you guys coordinate and work with your broker teams and work with our legal team to how do we mitigate risk when we're doing it that way, because it's a little uncomfortable to an agent at first. And so the other thing that I think I've really watched agents do, and I always laugh, and I know agents are so sick of hearing me use this word, but I'm going to say it one more time for everybody. This is the perfect time to call your database. And the ones who are are having exceptional results. I have heard story after story of, I'm going to call Elizabeth. I'm going to ask Elizabeth how she's doing. We're going to have a great 10-minute conversation. Maybe nothing comes from it. I call Renee. I have a 10-minute conversation. It's neither one of them were real estate related. Renee calls them back an hour later and says, you know what, I just remembered. So-and-so needs to go buy a house. Can you help them? It's been amazing that the agents that just jumped back in and said, okay, so I can't go sit in an open house. How do I hold one virtually? And when I was listening to, I think it was on one of Brent's, Brent was telling me about the number of homes that just went into escrow in Sacramento, and California is one of the more extreme shutdowns. And it was amazing. And so I think if everybody just remembers, and number one, as always, don't give up. Not just that, do not crawl up in a corner. Don't dive into the cake every morning, get up, get your coffee and go to work and just figure out what would I have done physically that now I just need to figure out how to do virtually. And sometimes I do think we're ahead of that game because we wake up every morning and do connect virtually. You guys are so used to connecting with your brokers in the world and which feels just like in real life. And so I think by doing that, we're already a bit ahead of that, but I have been nothing short of just thrilled to see how you guys have figured out how to listing houses. That's the one that I'm the most amazed by, you guys. The number of listings coming in is quite a few. So you are figuring out, and again, the agents will say, look, my pictures right now may not be the best because my seller actually took them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. You're still doing something with it. So I think just getting up and doing it.
The listing side actually was the earliest surprise we had is, well, 2.5 weeks ago when we started to do exactly what you're mentioning, Stacey, which is, well, we're going to have to make some shifts right now, right? And so one of the first shifts we made was not by design, it was out of necessity. And that was, well, we have 3 listing appointments on the calendar. How are we navigating that? All right, guys, we're going virtual, right? There's a myriad of tools you can use. We're doing it. And I still remember the meeting to this day with the team, and 2 of my team members, you could feel the anxiety come up. And I had it too. I had the same anxiety. Well, how is this going to go? But what was amazing is the listings were secured and the customer's anxiety lowered when the agent said, we have a plan and this is what we're going to do. And we don't even have to come to you.
Absolutely.
And so that has probably been one of the most eye-opening shifts that we've made, very happily too, because the customers are happy about it.
They are. And I think the other cool thing I've seen a lot of you guys do, which I think, a part of doing business is where your head is at mentally, right? If you allow yourself to get down, no matter what business is out there, you're not going to do good business anyway, right? You just need to stay in that positive mind. And so one of the things that I've watched a lot of people do is they're either, for those that are EXP, they go in the world and they go in a team suite or they go in a group room and they bring their team together and they have coffee or they have happy hour. Or we had a soccer tournament, all of these things that we did to just keep people together and positive. And if you don't have access to the world, do a Zoom call with your group. Right. Just even if they're not on your team, if you wake up every morning and have a 30-minute coffee session with people face to face, it's going to set your day off differently. And so it has been fun to watch the way the teams have figured out, first thing I need to do is get my group happy, get them together, get them excited, let them know we're into this. And like you said, let them know we have a plan. And then watch them take off and they will figure out how to sell real estate.
I'm smiling so big, Elizabeth, because did you hear what Stacey just said? Start your call with a 30-minute coffee together.
That's what we do every morning. We have a morning.
I love that.
Yeah, not just us, not just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
It's open to any agents, quite frankly. And it's awesome because every morning you don't know who's going to get on there. And we're talking about 3 things and how we can help each other out, and it's awesome. And it's
I just have to know, do you have bedhead when you do it?
Oh
yes.
It makes it better.
Cameras, because we're like, hey, this is not fair. But I was talking to an agent today and I said, hey, it's been really good seeing you on Huddle this week. And she said to me, she goes, it's getting me out of my bed. She said, thank you guys for having Huddle. It's making me get out of my bed. It's making me get my morning started. She goes, because otherwise I wouldn't do it. She's a stay-at-home single mom that has her kids sometimes and not others, right? And so she can go there, and something like that, something as simple as getting up in the morning and getting on with our coffee and our crazy, it's nice to feel connected.
It's okay for us to feel like the goal for the day can be one foot in front of the other. And I also am really glad that you pointed out, you said, well, agents might be tired of hearing it, but calling everyone you know to do your check-ins, right? I think that that needs to be repeated many times, because what I'm experiencing is some agents are still feeling apprehensive to reach out and make those calls. And so certainly everyone Elizabeth and I have spoken with, we're asking the question, and it is 100% of all of the awesome leaders we've spoke to. Every one of you have said, you need to call and love on your people.
It's true, because you know what, and one of the things I remember of all the classes when I would teach agents is when I would ask them, what is the reason you're not back in your database? And they were usually very similar. It was, well, I sold Elizabeth a house 5 years ago. I haven't actually talked to her since then. I'm afraid to call her. She's going to be angry. But you know, the funny thing is, when have you ever received a call from someone that you haven't talked to in a long time, that your thought process was anger over why they haven't called? It doesn't happen. You're just like, oh, Elizabeth, so awesome to talk to you. How have you been?
Yep.
You know, and so I think once they can, it's like everything. The first time you do it, it is scary.
Yep.
Second time you do it, it might still be a little scary, but you're like, all right, done it once, gonna do it again. And the more you do it, it just becomes comfortable, and you realize they don't bite. They're not going to bite. They are genuinely going to be happy that you called.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're reiterating that message, because I think that we can definitely need to hear it every single day, each of us.
Well, and it's funny, we get the same question. Okay, what can we do? What have we been telling you this whole time? What is everybody telling you? Have you done that yet? Well, no. We'll do that and come back to us. But
I know, right?
we can do so much. That's what we're doing. You're asking us what we're doing to stay relevant and stay in front of people authentically. I mean, and you know, it's funny. I get texts from people. They're like, I'm not real busy. And are you busy? Yes, I'm busy, because things like that are coming up. I have a listing presentation I had earlier in the week, and they weren't going to sell. And then after we talked, they were like, hey, so I have another call with them today, because they didn't recognize all of the options that we had. They just thought, we're stuck.
We're stuck. Absolutely.
I had another person that called me that I met with her before. And I mean, she's going to be perfect for our Express Buyers program. And so I actually sent out a note to a number of my clients saying, guys, I just want you to know. And so she called me. I'm calling her after this too, because we have a program that nobody else has that's going to be a fit for them. So if you just think about the tools and think about the resources we have and think about your clients and what their needs are, sometimes there's just a natural fit. So it's not hard to pick up the phone.
And you know, some of the things I think too, like when you think of when you're trying to either get an exercise routine or stay in your exercise routine, having a buddy, an accountability partner is always good. And I always tell people, don't make it the person that's going to like allow you to not follow through. Don't make it the person that's gonna be like, oh, it's okay, Stace. You know, you just didn't feel like it today. No, you need the accountability partner that says, Stace, did you make your 10 calls today? And when I say no, why? Yeah. I'm going to hang up and you're going to call me back when you've made your 10 calls. You know, that's unfortunately the kind of accountability we all need. You know, it's like, my husband's going to kill me for saying this on Facebook Live, but like when we do yoga together, I'm sure he's really happy to celebrate my husband does yoga with me, but you know, like there are so many afternoons that if I didn't know he was going to show up home from work and expect me to be dressed and ready to leave for yoga with him, I wouldn't go to yoga that night. Sure. And I know that about myself. So that was why I begged him to start doing it with me. And I think agents just need to realize that it's okay. That's a natural human tendency. So find a friend to keep you on track. And the longer you do it, it will become your habit.
Yeah. And it's okay to have more than one. I have a couple different accountability partners for a couple different things, you know, and it's awesome. It's easy to feel really connected that way too. So just make sure you keep that connection going. So.
Yeah, very much.
Stacey, so I'm curious right now, again, we're in unprecedented times. What do you feel is a challenge that faces independent brokers, brokerages in general right now, as we're navigating through this next phase?
You know, it's funny. I think the number one thing that we're all trying to navigate, that agents are, brokers, no matter how big, no matter how small, is the uncertainty. Everybody wants to know, how long is this going to last? How deep is it going to go? And my standard answer has been, my magic 8 ball hasn't worked for years. I keep shaking it and it's just not giving me the right answers. And so I think everybody's challenges are, we all learned from last time. So when people see brokerages making changes right now, making slight cutbacks, making slight adjustments, and people question, why are these brokerages doing this so soon? Well, that's an intelligence level that we gained from going through this the last time. Last time, a lot of people waited too long to make some proactive changes. And so this time, I think everybody is trying to figure out, okay, I don't want to make the mistakes we made last time. We want to be better this time. So we know there's going to be a shift in how many homes get sold. It's just going to happen. What nobody knows is how far and how wide and how long is it going to last. And so I think the biggest challenge for everybody is trying to balance out that need for support, systems, staffing, agent productivity, keeping it all at a level that is fiscally responsible, but is also at a level where agents don't get a different level of support, where they still have someone to call, where they still have someone that's there, where they still have the tools and systems they needed. And I think that is going to be something that I don't think there's a single brokerage out there that's going to do it perfectly. Yeah. Everybody's going to do their absolute very best. And everybody's is going to look a little bit different. You know, we're lucky we don't have brick and mortar to have to deal with. That puts us at an advantage. But it doesn't mean we don't need to be fiscally responsible around how many sales are going to come through and what do we need to do to make adjustments in the meantime. So I think, you know, Glenn and Jeff and Jason have made some amazing strides in making sure that we're set up for that long haul. And I think you're just going to continue to see that across the industry. I think the agents can actually help a ton in that predictions. The more the agents are in constant communication with their brokers and their teams over what is their level. You know, we're running numbers every single day. RJ's team is just constantly giving me numbers for transactions, what's opening. And again, we're pretty shocked at the number of openings every single day in a really good way. And so I think we're all going to just continue to try to figure out, what is that balance? How do we have enough, but how do we not bloat? You know, and those are things that we just want to keep balancing out. And so it may not always look graceful. We may stumble, we may stub our toes. But I think we learned so much going through it before that I think we're all going to be able to just get right back up and move on.
I think that it's a really smart mindset to have, to know. I've used similar communication, whether it's in an individual basis with our customers, and certainly when we talk to the agents, is there is no crystal ball, right? Is I don't have all the answers, nor do really anybody that I network with or talk to. But I do have confidence, and I do know how to navigate this, because just like, you know, all three of us have gone through, Stacey, you call the dark days, right? Like, we've done this.
Yeah.
And what I mean by this is understanding that there can be shifts at time, and we can also have strength in our foundation to poise ourselves to be ready and to know confidently that we're going to get through this.
Absolutely.
And so I also think that, isn't every business owner analyzing and looking and assessing to see that we're being responsible for sustainability? I mean,
Absolutely.
We have in my household for the last 3 weeks, it's smart business decisions, is to make sure we're looking at our business and making sure that we have the long haul of sustainability at mind.
Absolutely. I think everybody, you know, that is one of the messages that we are hearing from our teams, is that we're making shifts and adjustments as a company. And the team leaders are also making very similar shifts and adjustments in their team. The person may have a different title, it may be a different this, it may be a different way, but everybody is analyzing, I want to make sure that I can support the most people with the best resources possible. I also always look at times like this as, it is a time to, you know, sometimes, I guess you guys probably experience this in your team too, you're running so fast, you're running so hard, that sometimes your best solution to a problem today is duct tape and popsicle sticks. So sometimes when you get to slightly pull back, you get to remove the duct tape and popsicle sticks and actually put up some scaffolding and build yourself a much better foundation. So again, I think every single time we do this, we get to fix, and you guys just love my analogies, right?
I did. I'm still hung up
I
on
was
that.
like, sorry about that. But you know, it gives us a different opportunity to kind of.
We have to pause because I was almost going to just crack up out loud. I need to go back to duct tape and popsicle sticks.
Like,
Now you can see why my husband doesn't let me fix things around the house. I will admit, he did come home one day, because I can't sew. For everybody out there, don't ever ask me to even sew a button on your pants. He came home one day, the dogs had torn up the dog bed, and I did duct tape it back together, to which both him and my son informed me they could have sewed it. I should have just left it alone. So I duct tape everything.
yeah, you're respectful. That's all that matters.
But your point is so valid, though, is this is a time strengthening foundations, right? You can find yourself operating at a really fast pace. And right now gives us also time to pause. And while we're checking on all our people and loving on them, yeah, let's do a double check on our foundation and make sure that we are working every day toward behaviors that, again, poises us with strength.
Absolutely.
And I think when we all come from that mindset, certainly in a collaborative way, we're all stronger together.
And like you said, Renee, like even in your personal household, it's a time to do that. It's a time when we get busy. Sometimes we trade excellence for convenience, right? And so it's a great time to go back through even your own personal accounting, your own personal household, and figure out what really should I be doing? What do I need to be doing? And what have I done just because I was so busy and crazy, it was easiest to do. And now is the time to tear that apart, fix it better, and then establish better habits going forward. So I think once again, even if this is only a 2-month hiccup, we're still going to have learned lessons. We're still going to have built different processes. I can guarantee you right now, by our teams having to jump into action and solidify around all of these orders and learn to communicate quicker and faster and in better ways, I absolutely can say that even if this only was to last for 30 days, 45 days, 2 months, they're already going to come out with better systems. There's no doubt.
You all
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, we always have 2 questions that we're asking everybody, and we definitely want to ask you the same if you're open to it.
Go for it.
First one, Renee can ask the second, because I know this is going to be good.
I should have watched them all to the end, made sure I knew them.
Element of surprise, Stacey. That's what we're here. What we're all about. Popular hashtag within our company is hashtag EXP Realty Proud. What does that mean to you?
You know what it means to me. I think what EXP Proud means to me is more around the relationships we have with each other. It is one of the places where I have met agents, I have met staff, I have met people and made friendships that I never would have been able to make because we live all the way across the country from each other. Right. And yet I'm EXP Proud because if I'm having a bad day and any one of them find out, it's a personal reach out from people that I may have never even physically seen. And so I'm just proud of the relationships we've been able to build together and the fact that they're real and they're solid.
That's awesome.
Point right here.
Absolutely, right?
We're so incredibly blessed to have you in our world. I mean, you and I met a long time ago in Houston. I think it was like your first day on the job or something like that. But it was, you just know your people. You know who you're going to align with, and those relationships foster, and you're going to have relationships that are at all different levels. But we've been able to grow a relationship with you over the years that, speaking on behalf of both of us, is precious. So
absolutely, very much.
So fortunate and blessed to have you in our lives and in our world, both EXP world and our personal world.
Real world.
Absolutely, likewise.
Okay, so this one's a real tough one. Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, in 3 words or less, what does EXP Realty mean to you?
Only 3?
Only 3.
Definitely collaboration. Flexibility that's 4 words. Flexibility and experiences.
Good. Those are collaboration. We hear a lot, but the flexibility and experiences That's true. We've had some really cool experiences as a company.
We really
That's
have.
the first time I've heard that word used with that question. So that's great.
Yeah, I think it's been fun. I think, you know, we are by doing all this the way we do it. I feel like we're, you know, some days we call it more bad analogies, but in brokerage ops, we call it throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? You know, because not everything we've done has been done before, and we're trying new ways to connect all these states together. And so it's just been fun. And I think also too, a fun environment to be allowed to try. And hey, by the way, not everything's going to work. And oh yeah, that's okay. Try again.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, that mindset really speaks to the growth, right? Because the more you try and try and try, that's going to provide you with the growth. Okay, can I just say that I'm pretty sure we need to have somewhere documented all of the Stacey analogies.
Yeah. Stacey says, and then it'll be your book. And
I think we need a new workplace group or something. We got to think about this, Elizabeth, but we need a one-stop shop for Stacey analogies.
I know, right?
when you're looking at words and you don't know, just we can go into that group and then we'll just steal something that you've said. I love it.
I know, poor Steve Ledwith, just the other day, we were talking about how to stand up a new project. And we were talking about the beginning would be bare bones. And I told him, I said, okay, so the beginning will be the orange creamsicle because I don't even like them. We're going to have that. And when we finish, I want the bomb pop. Like I want the good popsicle. So poor Steve is now referring to our new project and whether it's a creamsicle or a bomb pop.
That is awesome. Whatever works, right? Well, we are so incredibly grateful for you and everything that your team is doing. This is not an easy task by any means, and you guys pull it off from what it looks like on our end almost flawlessly. You make our lives easier, our jobs easier, and we are incredibly grateful for you.
Well, and thank you guys for having me on and having such fun conversation. It's been awesome.
We're sending you virtual hugs because we
Likewise.
miss you too. You were supposed to be in Orlando really soon. Our
I
whole
know.
peeps, all our peeps were supposed to be here.
We'll get there. I have faith.
Thank you for taking time out
Thank
of your
you,
very
guys.
busy schedule, Stacey. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.